Bonus actions are hot garbage, he raged on X, before launching into an epic thread on how they totally failed as a game mechanic. Who am I talking about? No doubt one of those OSR evangelists who look for any small opportunity to stick the fork into 5e. Not quite. It was actually Mike Mearls himself, one of the two lead designers for 5th edition, and the guy who actually invented bonus actions in the first place. The topic of this video, as you might have guessed, is bonus actions, and my goal today is to look at why they exist in the first place and what went wrong in their implementation. I'm also going to put on a pair of padded gloves and step into ring with Mike Mearls, or his tweets at least, and do my best to defend the honour of this much maligned mechanic. Okay, so why did Mike Mearls invent bonus actions in the first place? Well, without bonus actions, D&D designers are left with only two taxes they can levy on the action economy to power a character's special abilities. They can make an ability like Bardic Inspiration take up a player's action and be the only thing that player can do on their turn, or they can design an ability as something that's free to do on the back of a player's usual action. The biggest problem with this all-or-nothing cost is that whenever players can do something for free, they can potentially stack a near infinite amount of special abilities on top of it, most notably if they choose to multi-class. A multi-classing paladin, fighter, monk might be able to attack using their action and then use Divine Smite, Channel Divinity, Second Wind, Flurry of Blows, and maybe other abilities powered by their species, magic items, or feats, all in the same round, completely obliterating the action economy. And so by getting a lot of these abilities behind a new bonus action, which you can only take once around, Mearls was trying to prevent this type of ability stacking. Mearls was also conscious of the potential bloat adding more bandwidth to the 5e action economy could bring to the game. Hence his idea that bonus actions only came online when you had an ability that unlocked them, and in fact, bonus was the perfect way to describe them, and also what distinguished them from swift actions or minor actions that had appeared in 3e and 4e respectively. Players shouldn't expect or plan to use them every round. That was the idea. Conveniently for the designers, this also meant you didn't have to give them to all the NPCs and monsters if you didn't want to either. Unfortunately, Mike's, some would say, naively optimistic idea that players would be happy to leave bonus actions on the floor as often as not didn't quite go according to plan. 5th edition players quickly leapt at the chance to do something extra on their turn, and in fact they even started creating character builds that leveraged the full potential of bonus actions. I'm sure there weren't any irresponsible 5e bloggers posting detailed advice on how to do so. Check the link below. Weapons that never saw play in the early years of D&D, such as the halberd and the glaive, suddenly became go-to weapons for fighters thanks to the polearm feat. The bard became everyone's favourite magic user thanks to Bardic Inspiration, and powerful bonus action spells like Misty Step was sought out via cynical multi-classing dips, as was any other ability you could use without expending your full action. The result was that Mike's intended 5e action economy of move and do something was expanded into move and do something, and then do something else. And hopefully get a reaction to spend as well. So I think the cons of bonus actions are pretty clear. One, they slow down the game, as players' turns now take longer, but they're also not doing significantly more damage per turn, so combats also take longer. Their very existence encourages players towards over-optimization and combos that the game wasn't balanced for. This can be particularly annoying on a table with a mix of experienced power gamers and wide-eyed new players who are just selecting the standard character options. Thirdly, they often lead to players searching for things to do with their bonus action on their character sheet when there's really nothing of note they can do, leading to frustration for that player and wasted time for everyone else. In my experience, thinking about whether I can do something useful with my bonus action usually takes longer than just running the bonus action feature itself. Okay, so those are the cons. Well, are there any pros to bonus actions? Well, I would say the main pro of bonus actions are actually almost identical to the cons. Characters get to do more things on their turn. This is something the majority of players, including myself, love. There's nothing more frustrating in D&D than making your only attack of the round and missing or wasting a spell slot on a save or suck spell that's saved. The bonus action offers a beautiful second chance to contribute during your turn, and if you manage to do 2 effective things on your turn, you get that nerdy buzz that you just hacked the system and played your character really smartly. There are also some ripostes to the cons that I think soften the negative impact of bonus actions that we need to consider. For example, if a player uses a bonus action to do something that would otherwise be a free action, they're actually not taking any more time on their turn than as if bonus actions didn't exist. So we can't blame bonus actions for every aspect of 5th edition drag. And if it does take longer to get back to your turn in combat, does that matter if you can do more and have more fun on your turn? The amount of time you spend waiting versus acting is more or less the same, whether it's 2 minutes on and 8 minutes off while 4 other players go, or if it's 5 minutes on and then 20 minutes off. Yes, the combat drags on longer, but as I've pointed out before when talking about 5th edition, I've never actually known players to complain that 5e combat takes too long. I actually did a video on the topic, so check that out. In my experience, it's always DMs that complain about slow combat, so are we in fact projecting a problem that doesn't exist onto the system? Or at least a problem that 80% of the people around the table don't care about, or prefer as it is. I think Mearls is wrong to say that bonus actions didn't succeed in their original goal, as they did create an action economy that stopped certain abilities being stacked. Even if, as Mike himself laments on his Twitter thread, that not making Divine Smite a bonus action was a huge design mistake in 5e. So, despite Mike's reservations, I can't help think that the inclusion of bonus actions is a significant factor behind 5e's success. They power some of the game's most fun mechanics, like Bardic Inspiration, the Rogue's Cunning Action, the Monk's Flurry of Blows and Patient Defense, as well as a ton of cool martial combos. They also created a staggered action economy tax that makes balancing the game easier and often makes narrative sense, to me at least. For example, lathering up into a rage or transforming into a wild beast, inspiring a colleague with magic woven words. These all feel like significant moments that shouldn't be free to do. And yet, it would be painful to waste an entire action doing that. So, bonus actions for me solve that problem. You could even add drinking a healing potion to that list, as doing so with a bonus action is the game's most commonly applied house rule, and it almost never makes sense to drink a healing potion using an action. You're not going to recover enough hit points versus how much damage you're going to take in the same round. So, drinking one as a bonus action provides a valid tactic that has now become an official part of the game. Whether they qualify for great or garbage game design, what is certain about bonus actions is that players love them, and that 5e D&D is the most popular RPG of all time. I don't think that's a total coincidence. So let's do a quick recap of the pros of bonus actions. 1, players have more meaningful choices and get to do more on their turn, which they love. 2, while they may slow the game down, they don't change the active-inactive time ratio that players experience during combat. 3, they do more or less achieve their original goal of gating abilities behind a limited action economy. And finally, they provide a more nuanced action economy for allowing for quicker, less impactful actions, which powers some of 5e's most beloved features. Let's talk about bonus actions for game designers. Mike Mearls is actually designing bonus actions out of his latest project, which is called Moldvay, and that's a new version of 5e designed to move faster at the table and be easier for GMs to run. I'll stick a link in the description if you want to find out more. As for me, I'm currently designing my own Bohemian steampunk game that uses a mix of open DC and 5e mechanics. Early on in my design process, I decided that I didn't need bonus actions because I'm going to use the fantastic action economy baked into the D6 system, where you can choose to attempt more things on your turn by accepting a reduction to your dice pool. But from a design point of view, I really started to miss bonus actions. They're really fun to design around, and they can enable a lot of cool combos that sit on top of your usual abilities. And they can impose limitations as well. In fact, instead of being bonus actions, I'm actually going to make them integral to the action economy, more like quick or swift actions, with a default list of options so the PCs always have something to fall back on. Perhaps this default list will actually reduce combat drag, as indecision is really what makes combat take so long in 5e, in my opinion. When I was writing the script for this video, I actually asked one of my D&D groups what they thought of bonus actions, and they loved them in general. Their only complaint was that not every class, notably wizards, has good options for them. This in turn got me thinking that maybe a default list of minor things that players can do on a bonus action would answer that issue in D&D, and might actually save some time, as players can have a crib list of default options instead of scouring their character sheet for something bespoke to do according to their specific abilities. Could a wizard use their bonus action to extend the shield spell, for example? You might have to power down the +5 a bit, but it might just work. Or could they use their bonus action to steel themselves and gain a bonus on their concentration saving throw in case they take damage? Hat tip to my friend Harry, who suggested that. In fact, if I was designing D&D from scratch, I might even make using a bonus action a requirement to maintaining concentration on a spell cast in a previous round. But anyway, now I'm just spitballing, but you get the idea. Bonus actions open up some really interesting doors to game designers. Okay, that's everything I have to say about bonus actions. Leave your own thoughts in the comments, please. I'd love to hear them. I'm going to stick a bunch of information in the video description relating to everything I talked about in this video, including links to Mike's Patreon, where you can keep tabs with what he's up to. You can keep tabs with me on this very channel or on my blog. So hope to see you soon. Until then, let's keep rolling.